What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So today we're going to be doing my top 10 life-size busts for 2023. Now, I was hoping to get Thor busts, Belle bust maybe this year. Looks like I'm not going to get any of them. So we're just going to go ahead and do this video now based off everything I've received. Now, there are a few pieces that are older acquisitions that were not released this year, but I did get that are not going to be mentioned. Example, Wonder Woman Infinity Studios. I rebought her again. Raptor bust, Thanos bust. So those three are not going to be on this video. I'm only talking about busts that, are new and shipped this year during the year. So let's go ahead and get to it, starting at number 10. Number 10 is going to be Prime One Studios Kong bust. Great bust, silicone, first attempt. It's nowhere near a Queen Studios or an Infinity Studios silicone bust, but it's still an absolutely fantastic bust with a 10 out of 10 base. The fur is perfect, and overall it's a great looking bust. Just a few issues with it, the lack of acrylic teeth or even glossy teeth, the eyelashes, that put this at the bottom of the list for me. So number 10, Kong bust. Number 9 is going to be Mimir bust. So simple base, nothing to brag home about. Granted, it's really just a head that Kratos attaches to himself. But, it's really just the purpose of that. You could really hang this on the wall if you wanted to. When it comes to the actual just portrait, this is one of the best portraits on any bust I've seen. Has like the coolest eyes, great looking beard, amazing texture, horns, tattoos, rope. Like, this thing's legit. Light up. It's a severed head. However, at the end of the day, it's just a head. And I prefer something with more body, like these. So that is the reason this isn't higher. If we're just doing top heads, this would be much higher in my list. But we're doing top busts. As an overall piece, without the fact that it doesn't have a body, but it shouldn't because it's Mimir. But this is number 9 on my list. Mimir by Blue Box Hyper. Number 8 is going to be Infinity Studios Harley Quinn life-size bust. Now, if this fixed a few of the issues, this would be probably number 1 or 2 on my list, but it does have some major issues in my opinion for a $4,000 life-size bust. One, the lack of silicone on the hands, especially the neck area doesn't match the head, and right here. They could have stopped right here on the silicone and then did a silicone patch right here. They also should have made the shirt a little thicker because it's a little too thin. The hands is just like Infinity Studios just bent us over. So that's a huge major issue in my opinion. And lastly, it's a beautiful face, but I still don't think the likeness is good enough. The likeness needs to be improved on Margot Robbie. I think the likeness isn't truly there. It's lacking, but I still love this bust a ton for so many reasons. All those issues aside, I love everything about this bust. The base, the concept, the tattoos, the part that is silicone looks amazing. The hair looks great. It is a beautiful looking girl. It's like it's almost like cosplay Harley Quinn is how you kind of have to view it, just because the likeness is off. But the face is extremely attractive as well. Nevertheless, this is going to be number, let's see, what are we on? 10, 9, 8. Number 7 is going to be Infinity Studios Catwoman bust. She has perfect likeness. One of the best likenesses on any of my busts. Like, you immediately see Anne Hathaway. Although I do think the likeness is lost just a tiny bit when she's not wearing the goggles. When she wears the goggles, it's perfect. The only reason this wouldn't be higher is simply due to the nature of, like the costume is extremely simple. It's just black all throughout. There's not a lot of variation like you saw in Harley. The base is good, not great. I mean, it's Gotham City. It's pretty cool. It does have a light up feature. It's a big bust. The hair looks great. The eyes, you have multiple display options with the fact that the goggles can come down, they go up. You can remove the whole goggles. I think one of the biggest misses on this is the fact that she's not holding a gun. I'd prefer her holding a gun. That's why I have that little BB gun there. But I just think this would be a lot better if she was holding a gun. I mean, right here, it kind of just looks like she's adjusting her goggles up, which does work, but I think it'd be cooler with a gun. So yeah, Catwoman, number 7. Number 6 is going to be Aquaman bust. So mine arrived with a broken arm. Really sucks. Tried to get it repaired. Basically got scammed. Guy literally did nothing. Just glued it. And yeah, terrible. But that issue aside, the armor looks great. It's not perfect, but, like to the movie. But it does look really freaking good. Absolutely love the base. Aquaman themed. Looks good. Likeness is there, but it's not perfect like Catwoman. But it's very good. Beard looks great. Eyes look like, water eyes. They look cool. The trident is huge and very detailed. I don't think it's metal. I think it's just resin. I would have loved if it was metal. But it does look just like the movie. And overall, I think this bust is absolutely fantastic. It's freakishly humongous. And just overall, very imposing. So, very cool bust. So, number 6, Aquaman. All right, now we're down to the top 5 busts. Number 5 is going to be the Mera bust. So I just saw Aquaman 2. We'll talk about that in another video. But I absolutely love this bust for so many silicone booby reasons. Beautiful, beautiful portrait. Great likeness. Love the colors. They're vibrant red. The outfit. The water effect on her hand. Silicone boobies, you can't get over that. The water base, gorgeous, sort of like an action pose. It's not just sitting up, you can see like a body twisting, like she's about to do some water spell on the villains. Just an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bust. Incredibly impressive. I love Amber Heard's Mera. So that's number 5. Number 4 is going to be Doctor Strange. This has probably the best human head of any bust I own. I think it's the most detailed, like the beard, perfect. It has all the right grays. The hairstyling is perfect. The eyes look like real human. All the wrinkles, because he's older, the moles, the different skin complexion, and everything about it. That is like the best human portrait I've seen. The likeness is like 100%. Love his outfit. Looks great. The base, fantastic. The biggest downfall is the fact it doesn't have arms, holding, or doing some sort of spell that would have been, made it higher on my list. But otherwise, it's a top-notch bust in every possible way outside the fact it doesn't have arms. But yeah, Doctor Strange, number 4. Number 3, Loki bust. I do like Loki a little bit more than Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange probably has an overall better themed base. But Loki's base is pretty much just as good. I like Loki's, that body part better than his body part. Loki has the helmet, which is way cooler than just hair, for example. Portrait, also extremely good likeness. It's massive. Again, missing arms. Imagine him holding the Tesseract, similar to my statue right there. How much cooler would that have been? Even if it was just a one-armed holding the Tesseract, and he was looking at it, smiling with his little Loki grin. That would have been so much cooler. Nevertheless, I'll take what we got. The armor's gorgeous. The portrait's fantastic. And the helmet is extremely cool. So yeah, Loki's number 3. Now, number 2 would be Prime 1. Well, I'm sorry. Queen Studios Big Chap Life-Size Bust, but I don't own it anymore. So I don't know. Can we include that? I don't own it technically, but I would put that as number 2. But since we don't own it, I'm not even putting it on the list, but it would be number 2 in my book. But we don't own it, so I can't even show you. But that was one of my favorite busts of the year. I do have it technically, again, on pre-order now through Spec Fiction, who I originally bought it from. However, I've noticed the more recent batches, the dome doesn't look as good, which is pretty disappointing. So for me, number 2 is going to be Captain America bust. Now, Captain's base is not as good as Loki or Strange. And the biggest reason he's, number 2 and above these two is due to the arms. If he didn't have arms, I would put him below both of them, honestly. But he's holding Mjolnir, silicone hands, half broken shield. Armor looks fan-frickin-tastic. It's big, wide, broad shoulders. He's like me. Portrait, perfect. They added the hair in the back. It looks like an actual person wearing the helmet. Doesn't look like the statues you see sculpted. You can tell that like the helmet was put on. This is like real straps. It's, dirty, bloody. This is, after he's been fighting this guy. So this is a pretty much perfect bust. It's incredibly impressive in so many ways. But yeah, this is number 2 in my book. As good as Captain Bust is, I think when you're looking at a bust, you want it to look cool. At the end of the day, he is just Chris Evans in a mask holding a half-broken shield and a hammer. This is cooler looking, in my opinion, a zombie. Clicker Bust by Juke Bong Arts. Now, this one only has one arm, which does actually work because you can think about the Clicker's arm was, torn off. It's a freaking zombie, but I think he did such a good job. He actually worked on the television show, The Last of Us. And so having this piece is super authentic piece of art. Like you look at the fingernails, like these are the best looking fingernails on any of my busts. And you can see the bite mark right there. All the infection just going throughout, and so like when you actually just look at like the skin, the infection, the mold, and all the buildup, it's just far more impressive than any of the other bust hands. When you look at the actual silicone, it's all just like human skinned, and it doesn't have as much detail. I mean, it's like obviously you see the skin pores and whatnot, but when you look at this, it's far more impressive and detailed. Base, fantastic. You got that little bloater in the back from the TV series. I did add that logo and the firefly necklace, but that portrait is freaking godlike. Silicone everything, hand punched hair. This thing is truly one of the coolest looking busts in my collection. So it was my second favorite acquisition number 1 for life-size busts was Clicker Bust. Now, in my opinion, had I got Thor, I think Thor would place maybe below, maybe like Catwoman good. Maybe. I don't think it's better than Aquaman based off the in-hand photos. Bale Bust, I think he would be I think he's up there with Captain America Bust based off what I've seen. I think it's as good as that. I think it's going to be an extremely special bust. I think Thor will be as good as like her. Not quite as good as him because the likeness isn't as good. If it had the likeness of the prototype, I think it'd be as good as this. Belle will be as good as this. Khaleesi bust, she's going to be as good as her. And she's one of my favorite of all. Of course, if we were including older acquisitions, that would be the best Infinity bust. And that would be number 1, Thanos bust. But we're not including those. Raptor bust wouldn't be top 10. It is an amazing bust, but it's not top 10. So yeah, anyways, folks, that's my top 10 life-size busts. Obviously, this year was the year of silicone for Flankster 117. It really was. I got so many silicone busts. I really got into it. So huge year for me in terms of that. But let me know, what was your favorite bust that I did get? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.